This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 847, The Mask of Senntisten. Enjoy. We need to, of course, go back because the first time we heard about the Inquisition was when we were wrapping up with the Caradet Lore Diggers, and we talked about the Writing on the Walls mystery that talked about the Inquisition. Also, Questcaping, when you were on the show at the end of As an Audrey's Quest, we kind of were wondering if that faction of the Temple Knights was related to the Inquisition, and I think at this point it's safe to say that that answer's a no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
The Temple Knights come from a very different era.
Yeah. Well, let's save that as we get through this, because we learn with this that the Inquisition is indeed the secret police force of the Zorosian Empire. In the book, it says their duty is to walk the Empire in secret to uncover and remove heretics and blasphemers with a focus on protecting the faith. The police were so secret in this that they didn't even know about one another, and sometimes that led to accidents, let's say, between one another, and that, well, you might actually kill one of your own Inquisition friends by accident. And
I think it's not that the other Inquisitors didn't know about each other, it's that the Praetorians and the Inquisitors didn't really know about each other.
Okay,
the conflict between those two.
All right. I took it more of the fact that Inquisition was so secret that you didn't know who an Inquisitioner was.
I was thinking that at first, but Colton and Aurelius, as are the main characters here, they seem to know each other fine enough.
Yeah, all right. And the view that the Inquisition takes is that sometimes the only solution is to excise the diseased flesh, amputating the corruption to save the whole. And that's what the Inquisition did for the Zorosian Empire. Now, the Praetorians, on the other hand, their interests were elsewhere, and you get this from page 6 in the mystery. The Praetorians were the master of secrets, and only a handful of them were known. They're well hidden and guarded, even in the Shadow Realm. All but one, of course, Sliske, who made his debut of hoisting that over everyone. And he was seen as different from the other Praetorians in that he could not keep secrets, and ultimately, as they say, his masks were more brilliant than the Inquisition was led to believe, and we know what happened with that with Sliske's game in the assassination of Guthix and ultimately trying to hand off the Stone of Jazz to one of the gods in the first part of our Sixth Age story here. So there's the dividing line on Inquisition versus Praetorian for anybody who was wondering on that. And feel free to comment anywhere along the way, anyone here, because I'm just going to read a couple more points. We also know that Zaros disappeared again in the Second Age, and his departure was initially considered a rumor, but with that, it was considered a great betrayal to think that he was gone. And if you thought anything like that, that would be considered blasphemy and reason for the Inquisition to come and get you. And the Inquisition was so concerned about this that they actually wanted to find the source of this rumor and listened very intently to the crowds at the Colosseum Games. But the question that was even perhaps more powerful, or the question that many people had, was that perhaps maybe there was an even more powerful entity that might have killed Zaros, since it was a long time since he was seen. And obviously, we know that didn't happen looking back from the Sixth Age, but these people in the Second Age had no idea, and they were wondering if it, in their own words, could it have been a terrible, wicked blasphemer by the name of Guthix. And that's not how we're used to hearing him be talked about, is it?
It's all the points of view, hey?
Yeah. And
strange heathen god.
It really shows that there can be one way of looking at things within the Empire, but on the other hand, if you are anything related close to Guthix, well, you're a terrible blasphemer.
The Zorosians definitely have a very all-or-nothing view of, at least very much the Inquisitors. That's definitely their job, after all.
Yeah.
That's their job to make sure faith is absolute, or else you get excised.
Yeah. And with that, I don't know. I feel like we're in a situation here where the mask of what it was like to be a citizen in this empire has finally come off. Because if you don't have that devoted faith and you somehow manage to show that you don't have that devoted faith, well, you're not really going to be one of those top-tier citizens anymore.
Glorious empire, but on certain very strict conditions.
Yeah. And I guess at this point I'd ask, would you guys choose to live here?
No, I would not.
I'd rather live in the wilderness.
Yeah. I'll go and live with the druids. They seem pretty chill.
Yeah, go be a blasphemer.
Yeah.
Again,
with all the herbs, you know. I think they have a pretty good time all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one here that would consider putting up a facade to live in a great empire then. Interesting.
Well,
so
kind of do it now, but sure. Comparisons could be drawn.
But like, is this the Inquisition that... So this is the same Inquisition as the writings on the wall?
Yeah.
So it was all Zaros all along?
Well, not
Always.
so much.
Not directly.
Yeah, it continues to drift away from that part. I'll probably have more to say on that towards the end of the mystery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that, like to me, I find that whole, you know, that moment where it says your character's name in a writing on the wall was
right. I forgot about that.
Pretty mind blowing to me. That was like chilling, right?
Well, these guys were supposed to have the power, able to travel through time as well. So,
yeah, like it was chilling, and I really thought that we had something where, you know, doesn't matter what god faction you're behind, this is bigger than that, right? And then it turns out
it's the Zorosian
secret
police
that Zaros just let loose on the world. I'm like, okay,
not quite. No, that's what I was going to say later on.
All right, whet our appetite a bit
entire...
with that right now,
yeah.
Questscaping.
Yeah.
All right, cliffhanger. Okay.
Whoa.
No, give us a bit of a hint.
Okay, well, they might have started off in the Zorosian Empire, but that's not where they remained. And it's not Zaros' actions they were working on. That's what I'll say.
All right, and we'll learn more about that as we progress then. All right. Now, in this, we also learn that the statues across the city were the eyes of the Inquisition. All the statues that you see in Senntisten served as that purpose, and those will come up again in the future as well.
Yeah, that suddenly makes them a whole lot more sinister.
Yeah, it does.
So,
it really does.
Was I the only one who was thinking of China at this point?
I was thinking Edward Snowden.
There's a lot of places with a lot of security cameras.
You know, both of those did not come to my mind, which is very weird that you both mentioned something to that effect of Edward Snowden or China.
It feels like this is a very, like, over the course of the mysteries we've discussed, this has turned from a very utopian world with a great empire to something more akin to, you know, from the 1984 or the British Empire from V for Vendetta, like strong government control.
Oh my God, we're heading there right now in real life.
I mean, that too. I'm not sure if this is set up as a social criticism.
I don't think it would be, knowing Raven.
But you know, it's starting to go that way, and it's getting more and more sinister.
Yeah.
As we go along, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not surprised. I think
it's
what
Zaros
this shows,
for heaven's sakes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, people who know they can't be trusted themselves are more likely to distrust others. So, you know, I think it all fits perfectly in sort of the Zaros and like the Zaros Street, where it's all, there's just no straight answers and honesty.
Another thing that comes Another thing that comes into mind is the Dominion from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. I think there's a lot of parallels to empires that are not quite as great and awesome as they are as they look on the surface.
Yeah,
You've got all your little Wayoons trotting about.
but if you behave, it might be good. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.